You guys all know Justin. He does sales for ClicksGeek. He's got, oh, that's a sweet hoodie. I gotta pick mine up still.
I have.
Um, Sold millions of dollars in digital products. He knows how to sell shit. He's really good. All right, let's get right into it. This is how you sell PPC. So I have a couple questions for you, dude. I'm just gonna bang through them since that was like a fiasco for 10 minutes. So, and these are common questions that we get all the time on the YouTube channel. So the first one is, what's your unique value proposition when pitching PPC services to clients? Because how do you make yourself stand out when everyone is selling PPC?
I mean, we touched base on this the other day. I mean, our case study videos provide their pre-selling our services out of the get-go. So I don't really treat a sales call like an initial sales call. I'm more likely just interviewing them to make sure
Yeah,
that they're a good fit. Our case study videos are providing value out of the gate to be able to show that we, have experience in this niche. We've been working in this niche. Now, market to market always, is different in regards to if one service in one market's going to work as good as the next. But
yeah,
when I'm when I'm in a position and providing value, the value I'm not. We talked about this before in the last one. I'm not talking about Google Ads out of the gate. I mean, I'm pre-qualifying them and interviewing them, asking them questions about their business, and I'm showing value in my service and my company based off of knowing knowledge in each specific niche that I'm selling to. So, I mean, out of the gate, I mean, we're leveraging case studies to, uh, to present value to me initially pitching PPC services to them. And then I follow them with interview questions. I'm pre-qualifying them with questions about their business. So let's say, for instance, it's an electrician. Okay, do you do residential and commercial? What market are you in? So identifying that they're in a big enough market to make sure that they're good.
yeah.
Uh,
So essentially, you're using content to warm them up. So they're all hot and bothered by the time they get on a call with you. They've
yeah,
watched probably a dozen case studies on their exact business. They already know they need this service. They feel like they know our company because they've watched so many me cursing and yelling at everybody through our videos. So they hop on they hop on a call with you, and then you kind of just basically walk them through a pre-qualification interview process. So the
yeah,
unique value proposition then essentially would be our content strategy.
yeah. I
We
mean that.
stand out because we've provided proof that we know what the fuck we're talking about, right? Like we can, you're an electrician. Oh, look, here's an electrician in Wyoming. Here's an electrician in Jersey. Here's an electrician in California, and here's what they got. Every 30 days, they get this amount of leads, this cost per lead, blah 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 blah. Right? Is that sum it up?
And yeah, and I don't talk much about the service at all. I'm asking them questions about them. I'm building rapport with them. I'm building a relationship. I'm building trust. That's the value, is knowing their business, them feeling comfortable with you, and know that you understand their industry as a whole. And it's not getting right into PPC. I mean, I might talk about the Google Ads campaign for 5 minutes at most, and it's not even super in depth. I'm just telling them what we're doing and what we're building out. But they don't, a lot of business owners or service-based owners don't, that's why they're calling me for help, because they don't understand all the lingo in the background, what an ad group
Yeah,
is, bidding strategy is. I'm just presenting the value of that. I know their business. I have already pre-sold them with case study videos.
yeah.
That makes
All right. So Sue had a great question. How big do you like the market to be?
so let's say, for instance, you're in a small town and hopefully nobody's in Iowa. So like in Iowa, it's like 5,000 people. That's too small. I mean, realistically, they should be in a minimum for a service-based company. I mean, they should be in a county that has at least what, 500,000 people, or not a 500,000, an audience that's about 500,000 people for it to work. If you're in one county that's only 50,000 people, realistically, you're going to cap that. It's
Yeah,
not
your
about
reach is
spending.
going to be.
It's not about spending more money to get more leads. You have to go broader,
Yeah.
right?
So like an
So
example would be if you're in a cabin in the Pocono Mountains and you do a 5 mile radius around your cabin, you're gonna have problems.
you're not gonna get anything.
Yeah. All right. Good question. So I want to move on, dude, because this one's actually pretty good. What objections do you encounter the most often, and how do you handle them? Like,
Uh,
what's the most common, like, in your face, every other call you hear this?
why a landing page over my website? That's a common one. I know that came up in the school group recently.
Yeah.
Landing pages are built to convert. It's what works. They're supposed to be ugly. They're not meant to stand out. It's meant to have a call of action. I understand like having a pretty website and all these fancy widgets and moving pieces to it, but again, that's just providing distraction and taking away from the call of action where we want them to click the call. So, I mean, I hear a lot about websites and landing page. I mean, that's sometime common. I'll hear that more, and no offense to anybody here, like in agency calls for like white label services. It's like, well, why don't you run the traffic to websites? Everybody's got their own system of what they want to do. I want to use what works.
I
We've
think
been
that's funny that that's the most common one you run into still after all this time.
I mean, price. I mean, there's going to be price. Well, I talked to somebody else that was cheaper, and I know the last meeting we talked about this. Okay, so my objection with price is, well, I talked to somebody else. You charge, whatever, $750 a month. They're doing the service for $500. Okay, so what kind of phone you have? I don't know if some of the guys that weren't on this last meeting I was on was in this, but I'm going to go through this because this is gold. Um, I'll literally ask them, and this will get them to start playing mind games with them a little bit. So you have a Samsung or an iPhone? I have an iPhone. Okay, so your iPhone charger breaks. You might have to go. You can go to the gas station, get one for $5. It's cheaper, right? It might work. Or do you go directly to the Apple store and you pay $50 for that charger? Which one's going to last? Which one's going to work better? Which one's going to last longer? Yeah, the gas station one's probably going to set your car or house on fire. Or the one from Apple, it's going to work 2, 3 years. It's going to charge your phone faster. You pay for what you get, right?
Yep.
So makes them kind of think about that a little bit. Like, well, cheaper is not always better. You're not buying a price, right? You're buying a service. Is my service, do you see the value of spending $750? And I ask them, and if they say no, they're probably not the right fit for my company.
Yeah.
It's it's 700. It's not a lot or whatever, any price. It doesn't matter.
That
Um,
actually leads that's a great answer. And I knew we touched on that in the last call.
yeah.
But that kind of leads to my next question. But before that, do any of you guys have something specific you want to ask Justin first? Anyone on here? All good? All right, if you do, just throw it in the chat like Sue did, and I'll get to it. So the next one, dude, it kind of segues into that was how do you identify whether a prospect is a good fit for pay per click? Because that's not always the case, and I know you see that. We see that a lot at our agency.
I feel like this should be something that we should touch on for a couple minutes on this
Yeah,
because this is super important for identifying red flags. Now, it's not always a red flag. Let's say, for instance, you're in an auto glass niche, okay? And proper budgets. I know budgets minimum to be able to get results on this is, it's a $5 to $10 per click niche, right? So for me, I times that budget 8 to 10, and you get a budget of floating anywhere from $75 to $100 a day is what's really good. So if a client came to me and said, my budget's $40 a day, it's not a good fit. And I'm going to explain to them why. And I'd use my golden ratio and I'm going to explain to them, listen, for me to be able to get adequate results and make your campaign perform, I need to have a budget of $75 to $100 a day minimum. Because if your click cost is $7 and you need to get, let's say, 10 clicks a day to convert 20 to 40% of them into leads, your budget needs to be around $70 to $75 at minimum. Right. It's not going to work. And my cat's just walking through here. So apologize about that. But there's going to be times where the budget comes major into factor and it's not a good fit. And then there could be times where the client will ask me, well, I can do $75 to $100 a day. But I ask them, do they have 2 to 3 months worth of budget ready to do that? Because I can't go based off of them having just 1 month ready to go because they're going to burn through cash.
they're looking for a silver bullet,
It's
essentially.
not going to work. So I need to say, well, no, I said $75 a day, but you need to realistically have around $4,500 ready to spend because we need minimum 60 days to get these campaigns to where we want them to be. So that's somebody that would be a bad fit. Another bad fit would be during my pre-qualification process, I'll ask them about the marketing they're currently doing. And if they bring up that they've ran Google Ads in the past, okay, have you ran Google Ads on your own or are you working with other agencies? I've worked with another agencies before. Okay, how many agencies have you worked with in the last year? 5.
We just had one of those like 2 weeks ago.
For us,
No, remember he was on a call with you and he was like, "Oh, you asked him that question." "Oh, I worked with 4 or 5 this year already." You're
yeah,
like, eh.
yeah, it's a red flag. I ask them like what happened. If they go from that, well, what happened? Well, I wasn't getting enough leads. Well, how long were you with them for? Yeah, 2 months. It's not, there's nothing I could do with that. I'm wasting taking up that market space, right, from somebody else coming in.
Yeah.
I'm wasting my team's energy. There's a lot of too much back and forth. It's just typically not a good fit. And that's why, again, this goes into, I'm sure there's gonna be a question about setting proper expectations, but that's another major red flag. Um,
Yeah, you can go into expectations if you
yeah,
want, man.
I mean, another red flag is I like to get on good rapport with people. If I feel like they're not engaging with me or asking any questions, uh do I feel like they'd be a good fit? Do they have a good sales system in place? Like here's a perfect example. Um
Touch on the sales system more too after your
yeah.
point.
So what if you, let's say for instance, you're a company and you don't have an answering system where you don't take phone calls. You let them go to voicemail and then you send them a text or an email to get in touch with you and you're going to communicate there. That comes up sometimes. I've heard that. If you don't have a good sales system in place where you're not going to call, I asked them about their sales process. Who's handling the calls? Do you have a dispatcher? Do you have a sales rep taking phone calls? Do you have a secretary, an assistant who's handling all the phone calls? Are they available from your working hours of 8 to 6? What are they doing from there? If they missed a call, how quickly are they calling back? If it's a form submission, how quickly are they calling? Um, are you calling one, two, three, four, 5 times with a text and an email to follow up with that? The guys that do really well with this are the ones that have a really good sales system in place. Speed the lead is very important. And I asked them about that. Sometimes like towing companies, they'll have a hard time with that because they could be hooking a call if they don't have a dispatcher, or anybody that's realistically like hands-on, right? You're good with dental practices, doctors' offices because they have administrators or assistants or secretaries answering the phone. But having a good sales system in place
Yeah,
is,
it's more the guys who are in a truck who are out there doing jobs.
yeah.
Those are the ones who have a hard time answering the calls. And everyone on this call knows with local service ads too, like you got to answer these.
Mhm.
It's gonna seriously jam you up if you don't.
Yeah. But I think we covered the bad fits. I mean, they're just
Yeah. All right,
um
so let's just roll with that then. So what are the initial questions you're asking during the sales call? Like what's like your go-to, like what are you trying to feel them out for?
I want to learn about their business, how they're set up operation wise. So let's just touch base on a junk removal company, right?
Yeah.
So probably the most common call that I have. So I'll ask them immediately, out of the gate after I do my introduction and my spiel, just to get the conversation, started for like an icebreaker. Um, I'll ask them, well, what markets are you in? Okay, I'm in Los Angeles. Okay, do you do LA County? Do you do Orange County? Multiple counties. So I find out how big their audience is, how far that we can realistically run ads for. So that's step one. Then I'll say, okay, do you do residential and commercial work? Okay, well, I do residential and commercial. Okay, great. How many trucks do you have? Do you have a box truck, dump truck, truck and trailer? Okay, so I have a truck and trailer. Okay, is it wrapped? Do you have your company logo on there on the truck and trailer? Uh, then I'll ask them if they do anything from single items or minimal item pickups. That's lingo that's in the junk removal field, up to full loads. And then I'll ask them if they do clean outs, state clean outs, hoarder clean outs, things of that nature. So I'm deeper pre-qualifying them, but also selling to them that I know
Their
basically
industry.
I should be running almost a junk removal company on my own. So then from there, I'll ask them how many employees they have. Are you business owner operator? Are you handling the phone calls? Are you doing the work themselves? So I'm finding out the size of how their company is, followed up by how long they've been in business for. A big factor with running ads, if they're 1 year in, you have to make sure that these guys need to start getting leads and they need to have the budget set properly for that. You have
Yeah.
a that's 5 to 10 years been doing junk removal business. At this point, they're just looking for more consistency and maybe some further scaling. But then I'll ask them a little bit about their pricing, what they charge for a single item up to a full load, right? To identify what their medium is. Usually, industry average for junk removal is about $300 for a pickup, usually. And then I'll ask them a little bit about how many jobs they're doing on a week on average. I'm not asking them per day. I want to ask them over a week in total because it's you could be dealing with the small business roller coaster, busy one day, slower the next. So I like to ask in a week. Um, then from there, I'll ask more about their marketing. What type of marketing are you doing? Are you doing paid marketing? What are you doing? Organic things of that nature. Okay, so then that opens up the door. That's where things really start to get fun.
Yeah.
And then from there, before I even get the budget, I want to ask them what their goals are. Where do they want to see the business with their help in the next 3 to 6 months, short term? And where do they want to see the business from year 1 to year 5? All right, so I can get their short end goals and then their future goals, long term goals. And then lastly, in regards to my questions for, let's say, a junk removal business, I'm going to ask them about their budget. And this is the biggest factor of what's going to come into if I need to push them from Google ads to Facebook ads to a dual package, if it's Facebook and Google, or even local service ads, whatever it may be.
Mhm.
And that's where usually from there, I'm going to find out where I'm going to be directing my phone call to, and I'm going to explain them.
Basically, which product they're going to ease into,
Yeah.
essentially. So
Yeah.
Bronson actually just asked a great question too,
Yeah.
man. Can you touch on metrics like close rate, show up rate, stuff like that? So like your call, I know sometimes show up rate sucks.
Show up rate is it's hit or miss. I'd probably say my show up rate's probably like 80 or 90%. I could have a day where I have 8 or 9 appointments and all 8 or 9 will show. And then I'll have a day that maybe 2 or 3 don't show up or they ask to reschedule. Um, the show rate thing, if you don't respond to me, and this is something where you need to provide value in yourself, that your time is money and it's just as valuable as theirs, is if they in all my appointments that go out, they get in my Calendly link that if you no call, no show, I am not going to call you back. And that just shows them that you're a no nonsense type of person
Yeah.
and your time is just as valuable. So my show rate's probably like 80%. My close rate, I mean, we get
I mean, it's pretty high.
it's pretty high, but there's a lot of guys that I do pass on. There's niches. We probably get a couple hundred leads a month from our YouTube channel. So there's a lot of industries that are that we don't service that I have to pass on. There's leads that come in that are outside of the United States or Canada that I have to outsource to other agency contacts that I have overseas. And then there's bad fits. I probably close 50%, I'd
Yeah,
say.
definitely. On warm leads too,
Yeah, on warm leads.
higher.
Yeah, I mean my ASAP, it's probably like an 80 or 90% close rate. In research mode, it's probably like 50%.
How
So
long is a typical sales call to close? I know
uh,
you do a lot of one call closes, but like do an average.
under 30 minutes, 25 minutes. I provide a ton of context after the call, that things I don't have to cover on the call, like setting a proper expectations what to expect in the first 45 days. I cover that for about 5 minutes. But then I send them videos that we have set up that will realistically be longer and it'll give them more context. And then they get further details after coming on board, frequent asked questions, things of that nature, what to expect.
Yeah.
So we provide a lot of context after the call. They're probably getting 4 or 5 emails with video walkthroughs of covering deeper about what's going to be going on from day one to starting with us.
Yeah. So guys, every time we close a client, they get an email with basically the first 60 days broken down into stages on what to expect. So we're setting the proper expectations right away. There's nothing left to like, oh, to push back on Justin. Like, oh, well, you said I would get X amount of leads. It's like, no, 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 no. Go read the onboarding email. All of that stuff is baked into it. So if you're not doing that, I suggest you guys start doing that. It's only going to help your retention when you set the proper expectations during the sales call and after the sales call. You're going to have way better retention rates. So, Justin, one thing I do want to get into too, because people ask this all the time in Google Ad School, is what's the easiest industries to sell PPC to?
Oh man. I mean, any of them are, depending where they're at. I mean, I don't consider one niche that's like real. I mean, I working with like I love working with the home service based businesses. Depending on the niche, but like dental practices, when you go into dental or doctors or attorneys, there's a lot that can open up the gate. There's a lot of different in their practice what they offer. Uh, Easy niches to get into. I love mobile detailing. Uh, these guys, it's I like the more affordable budget niches. So mobile detailing, I like towing, I like window tinting.
I love
Um,
window tinting.
yeah, I like it also because I'm a car guy myself and I know about everything that they do, like even deeper level than most of the other services that they offer. Um, what else do I like? I like dumpster rental is really good.
I think dumpster is becoming my number one favorite as of
Yeah,
right now. It's so easy
yeah,
to just get
because
results for these
it is.
guys.
Yeah, because it's an affordable niche where you can spend 75 to $100 a day. If you're spending like $200 a day, you're getting into that upper tier of getting 100 to 150 leads a month.
Yeah.
And it's what they're making on that lead, the value from cost per lead for target cost per acquisition. I mean, they usually charge $400 or 350 or $400 just for a minimum, and that could be for like a 3 day or a 5 day rental, and it's just pick up drop off. I love dumpster rental. Uh, I love junk removal. I mean, I really do. It's probably the best niche that I'm in, but it's a difficult niche to set expectations in. Or
Yeah.
set realistic expectations. I mean, I love flipping them to Facebook.
Man,
Uh,
there was one point where we had like 100 of them.
yeah. So,
Crazy.
um, I mean, roofing. I mean, we don't. I don't know anybody who can realistically get results in roofing anymore. I mean, it was a great niche to be in because of if they get one replacement, it's that the return on the investment and ad spend is insane. But the fun ones to be in is definitely mobile detailing, window tinting, dumpster rental.
So it's all smaller LTV
It is. It
service
really is.
companies.
Yes, because they're getting in volume, like where they're doing like two, three appointments a day.
Yeah.
Um, but I like selling in any of the niches, and it comes down to the budgets though. It's just setting the proper expectations, like plumbing, electricians, HVAC.
Yeah.
They're
I love
expensive.
HVAC too.
Yeah, they're
That's
expensive.
actually gotten easier over the last couple of months. I don't know what's
Yeah,
going on with that, but it's
yeah,
definitely more fun to be in.
it
So
is.
Brandon was chatted that talk more about the expectations you set in the onboarding email. If you can go over that. I don't know. Brandon, we just kind of have it laid out, man, where it's just like here's what you should expect week one,
Yep.
basically all the way through 60 days.
The shortest way to map this out is the crawl, walk, run method. I break down in three different steps of how a campaign goes. I consider it like a baby. So crawling is the learning phase. Walking is where we start our initial campaign optimization. So this is usually day 15, or it could be a little bit longer. And then running is where the campaign starts reaching goals, or if it's starting to hit standards, where we're at 45 to 60 days in, where we have enough data and we're starting to see results. And then we're going deeper with landing page optimization, conversion rate optimization. So I tell them like a campaign, it's slow, it's walking, it's crawling, right? It's not really going anywhere. You need to
You're
be
still
patient.
getting leads though. You're gonna get
Yeah,
leads.
yeah,
We
you're
do
still getting
pepper that in there. It's not
no,
like
of
don't
course.
expect anything for the first 30
No,
days, but
no, but if we really dived into like the beginning is we're data gathering, the cost per click is going to be higher, which is going to generate a higher cost per lead. So you are spending the same amount of money, but you're receiving less results, but you are getting results. But there's no reason to panic. There is a magic wand. There's no workaround for it. Everybody needs to go through it. So you have to have patience for the first 2 weeks, and then from days, let's say 15 to 45, this is where you start initial campaign optimization, right? This is where you will start to see the performance go up week by week because we start trimming away all the fat. We cut all the dead weight keywords, right? So adding keywords, removing keywords. If there's maybe changes on the landing page or A/B split testing on the back end. But I tell them we need a minimum 45 days for them to start seeing real results, the real results they should start expecting.
yep,
And I tell them if
exactly how we do
you
it.
don't have 45 to 60 days, we are not the right fit for each other.
Yeah.
So I tell that them. I
A
said,
lot of people come across, and I'm sure all you guys in here have an agency or started an agency or something like that, that a lot of the people that come across are looking for a silver bullet. And
Yep.
those are the clients that I know in the beginning it might be like, well, I know I can sell them and I'll make money. But those are the clients that are going to be your biggest headaches, man. They're
Yeah.
the ones who are looking for an easy fix. They're going to be emailing you every single day
Yep.
about the most minute things. So you just got to watch
How
out
many,
for that because you
yeah,
don't want to cause. Go ahead.
you can't. That's another red flag. How many leads am I going to get in a month? How many leads should I expect in a day? There's no way to answer that. It is impossible for any expert marketer to be able to tell you how many leads you're going to get in a day, in a week, in a month. We need a minimum of 30 to 45 days running your campaign to start setting realistic expectations. And
Mark actually just said, when should I start receiving leads? How do you answer that question when they ask that?
I don't know. Could be in the first 24 to 72 hours. I mean, every campaign's different. It depends how much information, what your impression share is, the search volume in your markets, how the campaign's reacting. You
Yep.
know, I've seen detailing campaigns. A guy turn one of our mobile detailing clients like 2 months ago. His campaign went live. He got a lead 2 hours in. He sent me a text and he was like, "You guys are gods," right? But then you could have it could take a day or two to get like a towing campaign. It's a call only campaign. It's normal for maybe to not get a call in the first 2 to 3 days, and I tell people that.
Yeah.
Um, patient. So it's what's that's a good one. Who wrote that? What's your take with reminding? Can we get some results with $20 per day?
You're gonna
That's like
struggle.
it's a struggle. That's a $50 to $60 per click niche now.
However, Facebook, you could probably
Yeah.
we've run remodeling in Facebook and successfully and gotten with 25 to $30 a day budgets.
Yeah. Facebook is
Man, these guys don't understand. I told them that we will get more leads and cheaper cost on Facebook. But
Yeah.
he told me that if we are doing marketing, so we should do on Google because at the end we are getting quality leads. So it's very hard, or I don't know if I'm not good in sales to to explain them that
Yeah.
Facebook is good. This is proven there.
Yeah, that guy's a lunatic. You
that's
can't do
not
anything with
somebody
$20 a day in
you'll never
Facebook.
make him happy. The way I look at it is like here's another question to ask, and I've enrolled this into my to all of my calls now for probably the last couple months. I ask them what they think a lead is. What is a lead to you? Is it a guaranteed customer? Um, is it someone just looking for information? Or are they shopping around for pricing?
This
I
is
asked them,
huge.
I said it's not customer generation. A lead is a lead because they're shopping around looking for a price or a quote for your service. You're not going to be the only person that they contact. You need to have a good sales system, upsell, downsell if you can. Um, you paid for the lead, why not try to sell it as best as that you can? If you have to drop price a little bit, like what do I need to do to set an appointment now with you? I'll do a free estimate for you. I'll knock off $50 off the price, things of that nature. You win the customer, you will make up for it in the long run. You will make up for it in the long run when they use you again. A lead is a lead, regardless where it comes from. Adarsh, if it's from Facebook, if it's from your organic from SEO, if it's from Yelp, it's from Google Ads, Google Guaranteed, they're all shopping for a price. It doesn't matter where it comes from. A poor quality lead, maybe it comes from outside of your local areas. It's a service you don't offer. It's spam. It's a sales call. It's somebody looking for a job. Those
Yeah.
will beginning. That is part of the optimization. We need to remove those keywords and add them to the negative keyword list. And you just have to be strict with that. Like,
It makes me laugh every time if I see somebody cancel and they're canceling and the reason for cancellation is everyone's looking for a price for my service. I can't sell them. I can't close them. Okay. Well,
it's the confidence behind
what
the,
you want us to sell it for you too?
yeah,
Like
it's your
Sue,
confidence.
hold on real quick, dude. I gotta jump in. Sue it said doesn't make a huge difference if the ad account is brand new or if they have run ads in the past. Not particularly unless you're using an old campaign that's in the account, Sue. If you start a new campaign, you should be fine.
Yeah. And listen, guys, if you guys have any questions on any of this, like I don't know if I don't jump in it too often, but if you guys want to like message me questions about like sales process or sales
Just
funnel,
write a post and tag Justin in it.
yeah, I'm happy to answer them. Like I love this stuff. It helps me sharpen my axe. I try to educate myself every day. I'm a maniac. I watch videos. Rob's up doing stuff at 100 in 1:45 in the morning and whatever he's doing, I'm watching sales reels and watching from other things because I'm 41 years old and I have to learn. I'm going to continuously learn and educate myself to see if there's anything else I can do to better or
Till we
help.
clone you with ChatGPT and then get rid of you.
Yeah, that'll be fine. I wish someone would clone me.
All right, closing arguments. Closing notes. What do you want to do? We have a minute left. Is there anything you could give best advice to anyone in here who has an agency who's sharpened their selling axe?
Uh, Stand your ground. You're in control of the conversation. Uh, your prospects or leads need your help. And try to keep control of the conversation. The second you lose control of that conversation, you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
It's not a closable deal.
Bronson, no, we don't use a slide deck on sales calls. It's all over the phone.
Yeah, people ask me all the time, do I do is it to be a Google Meet? It's a simple phone call. Doesn't need
Yeah.
to be. Google Meets and these type of meetings are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
No reason for it. We're here to talk, and that's it.
All right, let me end that here for everybody. Thank you, Justin. That was awesome. So